What up, folks? Once again, it's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Ahmaud Arbery, problems already. As you can see, that is what the title of this video is. But why are we saying that? Why can't we just have a fair trial, fair case, go down there in Georgia and decide what went down with this situation? Well, before we get into the video, I'm asking you to do what I always ask you to do. Do your boy solid, hit that subscribe. Feel free to hit the like at the end of the video. It helps your boy out. If you don't like what I got to say in this video, feel free to hit the dislike button, but drop a comment. We can talk about it in the comments. Why is there problems already in this? The jury selection has been completed, and they are going to proceed in this trial with 11 white jurors and only one African American. That's a trial of your peers. 11 whites, one black. Oh, man. So why the hell are we complaining about this? You know, is it the black community alleging that there's racial discrimination here in the jury selection? Is it BLM? Is it civil rights attorney Ben Crump? Well, for starters, the goddamn judge in the trial is actually stating on record that it appears to be intentional discrimination in the jury selection. That's the judge is saying that the defense attorneys appear to be dropping jurors or disqualifying jurors based on their race. Now, that is something that is not supposed to happen in a jury selection. You can't discriminate based on race. But the judge is going to let this 11-1 jury fly because he's saying that the answers they gave stated that it wasn't done in regards to racial discrimination. It wasn't done based on racial discrimination. So this is a problem, folks. This is absolutely a problem. When you see a jury of your peers and you got an 11-1 bias, if for some reason these the McMichaels, the father and son duo that shot Ahmaud Arbery, if for some reason they're found not guilty, this 11-1 bias is going to be an issue, particularly with the judge saying that there appears to be discrimination. I mean, this is the judge's own word. So I don't know if you can retry the case or whatever, but the jury in this case this should definitely not fly. I mean, the prosecutor should have an absolute problem with this. But this is what we're working with, folks. So when folks start saying that shit is racist, you know, it's hard to counter that with the judge chiming in and saying that, yeah, discrimination appears to be the case. Now, the judge did say that they gave answers that stated it wasn't racially biased. Just somehow, by coincidence, you ended up with an 11-1 jury. Let's be real, folks. You can do all kinds of racist shit and give a legitimate sounding answer to why what you're doing is not racist. That's the history of how racism happened. Nobody came out. Most of the politicians throughout American history did not come out and say, you know, I hate black people, or I hate Hispanics, or I hate minorities. They gave another reason for why they were doing what they were doing, imposing racist legislation or whatever. They gave an alternative reason that sounded legitimate. So it's not hard to give a legitimate reason for why something is not racist when it actually is racist. An 11-1 jury in a case that is this racially biased should not fly. It just shouldn't. No different than if a white guy was being charged with something very controversial, and all of a sudden the jury was, 11 black guys to one white guy. I'm sure most white people would have a problem with that also. That shouldn't fly. Now, out of the jury pool, 25% of them were African American. So how we ended up with a jury selection, 1 out of 12 people, which is well under 10% black, I don't understand how that would have happened other than, some foul play that looks like it went down to the point where even the judge is pointing out it looks like it was intentional. But we'll see how this turns out, folks. In my opinion, my humble opinion, this is riot material. It really is. I don't condone setting shit on fire and looting and all of that, but an 11-1 jury in 2021 in a case that is heavily racially charged, it just shouldn't happen. The judge should try to do everything he can, or he should have tried to do everything he could have to prevent this from happening. But yeah, if they find that McMichael's father and son combo, if they find him not guilty, and unlike in a lot of the other cases, the Trayvon Martins and shit, like, you got video evidence that it's happening. So, yeah, if somehow, some way they end up being found not guilty, yeah, it's probably going to be some negative consequences to it. I don't, like I said before, I don't fucking condone it. So I don't want to hear about Black Lives Matter burning down cities and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. But I could easily see the outcome of this being horrendous because the jury selection is so bad and the judge is on record saying that it looks like it's intentional. How he could state that and then still let the jury proceed on, I don't know. I don't even know what to do with that. Anyway, folks, what do you think? You think an 11-1 jury is not even an issue? I mean, they still can give a fair and impartial decision. You think that's okay? It just happens to be a coincidence? Or do you believe there might be some racism at play? Now, I'm going to state that most of the audience that views my videos tend to lean to the right, and I appreciate that. That's where I tend to enjoy having my conversations. But I also realize that when it comes to seeing racial bias, particularly where the victim is a minority, the right-wing community does not see that anywhere near as often as the left side does. The right-wing community tends to see more racial bias where Caucasians are the victim. So I can kind of figure where my answers might be on this. But I'm going to ask once again, what do you think? You think an 11-1 jury in a racially charged case such as this is just simply a coincidence, or do you think the judge is probably right in saying that there appears to be some racial discrimination in how they selected the jury? And a follow-up question, do you think this shit should have been allowed to continue, or do you think the judge should have stepped in and made some changes just simply based on the fact that if this goes the wrong way, people were, or not going to say go the wrong way, but if this goes a certain way, people are going to say that 11-1 bias had, was probably, the reason that happened. Anyway, just wanted to drop this quick video because I just saw that news and this is absolutely worth talking about. It's your boy Tim once again, the handsome liberal, coming to you, and I will catch you in the next video.